So welcome to GAIM Ops 2014 in the Grand Cayman. We're here today with Jim Tharin, who's the Chief Executive of Chicago Clearing Corporation. We're going to talk about technology-enabled solutions, specifically around class action settlements. And Jim, before we start, why don't you just provide us a little introduction to yourself?
Okay, so I was a trader on the floor of the Chicago Board Options Exchange. 1993, I got a call from a roommate of mine who said, "We have a class action coupon case. Will you do this?" I said, "Sure, I'll make a market in it." And one thing led to another. We made 20 or so markets. Then, in 2005, the Class Action Fairness Act was passed. No more coupons, but I received a notice in a option antitrust litigation. So this little business that we're in now was born, where we file and recover money in class action security settlements for institutions.
So Jim, to understand the importance of technology, it often helps to understand the context of the challenge. Can you talk somewhat around the drudgery of the class action settlement process?
First and foremost, let's talk about scope. So there's a lot of money out there. There are currently 700 cases pending. There are 200 cases or so that have escrow accounts. The escrow is of $10 billion currently. $43 billion were paid in the last 5 years. Could be $100 billion in the next 10 years. So it's not something to be ignored. There's a lot of money here. But to collect that money, you have to go through a very arduous, long process. Firstly, you have to find out about them. So I'll give you a quick story. Back to the CBOE. I was trading a stock called West Point Pepperell. I moved clearing firms. Some years later, there was a class action lawsuit. A guy I was standing next to, for example, received $350,000 in this case. I received zero because I didn't fill out the claim form because no one had notified me that there was a class action lawsuit. So first of all, you have to get notified. So if you've left a prime broker, administrator, whatever, as a hedge fund, you may not hear about these class action cases. So notification is very important. Moreover, if you're trading international securities, they're not going to inform you about mass actions. Secondly, even if you know about it, you don't know what CUSIPs are involved. So you have to go collect all of this old data from all these disparate places where you may have been with a different prime broker from years gone by. It's going to be a 10-year process. Right. Then you have to put all this data together in one seamless format to be able to file these class action securities claims, and you may not even have the CUSIPs or know what CUSIPs you're supposed to be filing for. So once you've actually gone through all of this process and filed the claim, put all this data together, then you have to file the claim. And filing the claim can be an arduous process. Once you file the claim, you have another 18 months on average before payment. And there are 18 different administrators with 18 different formats, right. And they treat you in 18 different ways, so you could be hearing nonstop and over the course of the next 18 months about this claim that you filed. Then, when the money finally comes, you have no idea if this has been reconciled correctly, if you're actually owed this money, what your recognized loss was. There's really no communication with you on the way, so it takes forever to do. No individual firm's going to build a technology for this, and it's rare when they're going to actually hire and employ someone for this 10-year period consistently throughout to do this. So it's very difficult.
So technology is an obvious solution to this. Can you give us some idea of how the sophistication of what you've built around a service compares to, say, technology that people have attempted to build in-house, and provide some specific examples around that?
Right. So we have 1,135 clients. Right. Manage $2 trillion for 2 million investors. We couldn't do that without superior proprietary software. Every step of the way that I just mentioned, we have proprietary software built to handle this and handle it in mass efficiently, effectively, to maximize every claim that we can, right. so that we know and hear about every case. There is no in-house solution that I've ever seen that can replicate what we do. Indeed, of those 1,135 clients, 500 of them are bank trust departments and custodians who have fiduciary duty to file, but find the drudgery so enormous that they hire us to do it instead.
Okay. And so, one of the topics around that we're talking about technology-enabled services, particularly at the conference this week, is how the expertise surrounding technology solutions is very critical. Can you talk a little bit about how technology isn't the only component to the solution, it's right. the expertise that surrounds that as well?
Right. Well, certainly we just don't have one big server running in the back room that handles everything. We have to have people, and the people have to know what they're doing and know everything they can about this. So we use as many different sources as we can to feed into this proprietary technology. First, to find the cases, then to sort through all the disparate data, which can be really difficult to sort through and organize. Then you have to actually file the claims. Now, these are all people that are doing it. They're manipulating the technology so that they can actually do these jobs, these tasks. We also calculate recognized loss, meaning we can tell you how much we expect you to get in this case. Then you have to determine the pro rata distribution, and that is all mathematical quantitative analysis that you have to go through from every plan of allocation. Yes, you can program it to some degree, but you have to have human input, and you have to read through these plans of allocation, which are monumentally boring. They'll put you to sleep. So you have to have people that
legal review as well as being able to forecast.
Correct.
Based on experience, what the payout's going to be.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the areas where we talk about enterprise solutions, enterprise technology solutions versus what can be built in-house. Do you think that you provide a partial service around this area, where a manager is going to think about, you know, building other components and have a technology strategy in-house, or do you believe that really they have to be a one-stop shop in terms of a full solution?
By and large, we are hired to take it off the client's hands. By and large, they don't want to hear about it or know about it, which is precisely why they hire us. So unlike many people here, unlike hedge fund administrators, where you have to really work with the client to come up with the best solution, and they still will have to have some technology, they really just want to give this to us and be done with it. And along the way, of course, we have a wonderful reporting portal that anyone can see every single step of the way, down to the minute detail. So you can track this as much as you want, or you can keep your hands off and just accept the checks when they come, recognizing that we have calculated the recognized loss, that we have reconciled to make sure the payments are correct.
Yeah.
We do have a modular service. Each one of these things I've mentioned, we can sell to anybody separately, and then they can put it into their own technology solution, and we definitely have people that do that. But by and large, of those 1,135 clients, the predominant number of them hire us to do it all.
You mentioned earlier the importance of historical information, and clearly a manager has to provide to you some level of position information. How do you get over the client sensitivity of them providing you insight into their portfolio?
Yeah, many hedge funds feel this way. Yeah. They don't want to give up the secret sauce, so to speak. So a comprehensive data dump is not preferable to them. Instead, we have a very specific CUSIP search because we do track all of the CUSIPs that can be involved in these class actions. So a hedge fund or any client through our site can, or in other ways, we can send to them a CUSIP list every month, or they can go to our site and download this CUSIP list every month and send us only the trades that pertain to that particular CUSIP. So we don't have the total picture of what they're doing.
Okay, but then the next step after identification of the CUSIP is to understand then the position at the time.
Right, which is mathematical. I mean, as long as we have the initial opening position, we can do the rest.
Okay.
But it's for the specific CUSIP in that case, in that instance.
What's the, I mean, you talked about reporting, online reporting and output to the manager to help them understand where the process is going. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, like I said, the reporting portal is very, very comprehensive, and class actions are actually quite linear. Mm-hmm. They start here, they end here.
Right.
It's just the middle that's kind of messy. But as soon as a stock price drops, there are plaintiffs' attorneys out there that are looking at that drop to try to tie it back to statements that were made that may be erroneous statements, et cetera. So then a class action lawsuit could ensue because of this price drop. And then from there, every step of the way is pretty organized and linear, though very messy to deal with.
Right.
So we have it modularized in such a way on our website so that you can see every single step of the way. Okay. So you have the pending cases, the settled cases, the claims that we have filed, the recognized loss that we've calculated, the actual claim data underlying it. You have CUSIP search if you want to have it as well. We have allocation and checks so that you can follow this all the way through.
Well, thank you very much, Jim. That's it from GAIM Ops 2014 Cayman.
Thank you, John.